We're getting so good at this.
So good.
Thank you guys for coming back for part 2 of our special, very first ever Broad Spectrum Nerds interview featuring Amanda Lawson.
Broad Spectrum Nerds. We're just 2 Broad Spectrum Nerds. When your IP is in a straitjacket, we won't attack it. We'll just give it reconstructive surgery. We're your 2 best friends. I'm the bro, I'm the sis. We know your story's coke and that you're an addict, but we love you too much to let you go down like this. So we'll hug you close and shout, no, 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 no. Broad Spectrum Nerds. We're just 2 Broad Spectrum Nerds. When your IP is in a straitjacket, we won't attack it. We'll just give it reconstructive surgery. We've got ideas for years. I'm a vet, I'm a teacher. We make a meat quesadilla, feast in our cafeteria. We are 2 Broad Spectrum Nerds. Broad Spectrum Nerds.
Some 2020, some point in 2020, we got a lot of 2020 left. Okay, so we have the trajectory, the inheritance, the fantasy reading in middle school, the hustle painting, the transferring into Emerald Knights, which for the gaming and the comics, and then you found yourself at Blast Off.
Yeah.
Which is, I can't say enough positive things about Blast Off. I love Blast Off. It sadly is no longer in existence because life happens. I love you, Jed, in case you're watching this. But so you ended up at Blast Off. What was that experience like? Because I know, well, so from my side, Harley was the previous manager there, and so like I had a rapport with Harley, and she had a rapport with basically like all of North Hollywood. Yeah. And the only person who had more rapport was Judd, like the owner. And so like she had an opportunity, she was leaving, and then Judd was not around as much because he had an opportunity, but he was still like running the store and owning it. Chris came in from the warehouse because he would sell like the antique and high priced items there. So he came in to work in the store more, and then you kind of stepped into this ready made production as like the manager. Yeah. What was that from your?
Well, I mean, it was really easy because Harley was a redhead, and I really just assumed her role. Some people thought I was Harley. They would always compliment her/me on my new haircut. I was called Harley a lot that first couple months. It was weird and funny.
We're gonna have to do like a side by side. You guys look nothing alike to me.
No, we don't. Right. We don't. But if you like completely get rid of one of us and then replace the other, right? Like it's wait a minute.
Right. Oh, it's a redhead. Okay, must be the same
person. Perfect. Yeah, I'm at least like a foot taller than her too. Right. We're very.
I just forgot how tall you were when I walked. I was like, has she always been taller than me? What is this?
I'm wearing heeled boots.
That is true. I looked down and
cheating.
saw that. It's like, well, let me fix my posture a little bit.
Don't slouch a little.
Okay, so but what was that like for you?
It was really intimidating at first.
Okay.
But like I was saying earlier, it was kind of easy to get this rapport with the customers. Some of them I knew already. Because they would shop at both stores. Okay. Because that's like, 2 miles away from each other? Right. So that was kind of fun. Yeah. Some people that knew me from Emerald Knights, they would come to Blast Off and be like, wait, didn't I just see you the other week at the other shop? Are you doing both? What is this? I think for like a week I did do both. Which was
get paid. That's what you gotta do.
Well, you gotta train.
That too. That too. Were you training after hours?
There was some.
Okay.
There were some shifts where I would come directly from Emerald Knights and be like, I can put in a couple hours to figure out the POS system. Wow. Yeah, that was weird.
It's grueling.
But it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
And it was interesting to focus entirely on comics.
Right.
Instead of what I had to do at the other shop was you need to know games. You need to go Magic the Gathering, which I'm still not 100% on because it's hard.
There's a lot behind Magic the
Gathering. There is.
Yeah. People try to explain to him, I'm like, you can just stop. I'm not going to get this. It's okay. I can accept my mental limitation.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll just go back to reading my comics.
Right. Okay. So for you guys who don't know, Judd was very intentional about Blast Off. It was basically only comics. The only thing that was in there that wasn't comics were like art on the walls.
Art and statues.
Yeah, and even those were strategic. Like, it wasn't crowded. Like, it was just enough to be tasteful. There were no toys, boutique-y. No games. Yeah. Boutique-y. Hashtag boutique-y. Okay, so you only had to focus on the comics.
Yeah, it was great. And I was able to read a lot more. Okay. And by able to, I mean I was also instructed to.
All right.
I read all of the comics every week that came out.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you remember all of that? Or is it just like an acquired skill after so much time?
It mostly acquired skill.
Okay.
But I mean, you skim most of them, get the broad strokes. As long as I know, like, the big things that are happening. Like, oh, this big thing happened in Batman. And
yeah.
this is the penultimate issue of this miniseries. Okay. As long as I had those, I was pretty good.
Okay.
But yeah. There were so many comics.
He has a good selection in there.
Yeah, and there was a lot of backlog. So, Blast Off
you
had...
read old stuff, too?
Some. A lot of that I could get on Comixology, because I don't necessarily want to just take down that
this
ASM like 121. Yeah. You're like, all right, cool, what's this? It was easy to just get the things from the internet. And then I can remember like what all of the key issues were. But it was still not, it wasn't ever my forte. But I liked working with Chris, who that was his forte.
Yeah.
So we played off each other really well.
Okay. Got it. Okay. There's so much to talk about as far as Blast Off. I'm trying not to like go down the road. We're gonna have to do like a Blast Off group interview with like you and Harley and Keys and Dre.
Oh, we could have a reunion show.
We should do a reunion show. We're gonna do a reunion show at Judd's house. Because you know he lives.
Because it's on the beach.
Right, because Judd, we're coming to your house for the reunion show. Oh, this is kind of exciting. Okay, so then I would say, like for me, on the customer end, and like I've talked to Judd, and I know everyone has kind of like their personal stories at Blast Off, which seem to happen at Blast Off more so than other comic book stores. That actually became one of my favorite things about being in Blast Off, seeing people walk in for the first time and just like the wave of Blast Off energy would just hit them, and they'd be like, and I'd be like, it's different, right? And they're like, yeah, it is. And everyone had stories. I know, like, when they closed, Judd was, like, overwhelmed because people were coming in and telling their Blast-Off stories. Yeah. So that being said, do you have... Well, I'm sure you have one. What is your Blast-Off story? You can go touching, funny,
I have so many
scary.
stories. Okay, so I feel like I should be more broad about it. But... the biggest thing about Blast Off that I remember was always feeling like I belonged. And as a woman in the comics industry, that can be rare. Like, a lot of times, like, years ago, I remember walking into stores and just feeling like I shouldn't be here. But Blast Off was always different.
Yeah.
And I would have women come up to me as I was behind the desk. They would walk in. I would see them have a moment of, what is this place? And they would come up to me and say, I came into this shop because I saw you working here.
Wow.
And like, this makes me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And then just from there, I had someone who would come in all the time.
Yeah.
And there were so many. And I remember a little girl. Her name is Rose. She's my favorite. Just her whole family.
Yeah.
Wonderful people. But I feel like she imprinted on me. And she reminded me so much of my best friend at home in Virginia.
Okay.
And Rose, oh my gosh. This girl reads.
Yeah.
Like, give me more things to read because I am reading them all the time sort of, like, reader.
Yes.
And reading far beyond her reading level.
Yeah.
Which was so cool.
Yeah.
she might be like 9 or 10, but I was talking with her like a peer.
Yes.
And she saw me as a peer too. So it was so cool to like talk about comics with basically just a young woman.
Yeah.
Who is so
Young
interested
reader.
in what I have to say about books.
Yeah. Did
So
she have like opinions and stuff and thoughts like that?
She had
What
she
did
had
she have
so
an opinion
many
about?
opinions.
Okay.
But that was what was so cool about working at Blast Off, is having those connections with customers that didn't feel like I'm just trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
It's let's talk about a book and geek out real hard on it.
Yes.
And then, okay, you should probably also pick up this other thing because it's in your pull list. And then come back next week so we can talk
have
about
more
it.
conversation.
Mm-hmm. So that just happened all the time, and that was unique with Blast
awesome.
Off.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to ask you about that. We don't have to go super deeply into it. But I don't even want to say what is it like being a woman in space. I feel like there's so many think pieces about that already.
Yeah.
But if you could bring everyone onto the same page and say this is how this should be, like what would your message about that be? I don't even want to say necessarily to men, but just to everyone. Like this is the page we should be on. This is how we should conduct ourselves. And it could be to men because
I mean everyone.
Right.
I think you're allowed to like the things that you're allowed to like or that you like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm allowed to like the things that I like, and that should be enough. Like, I'm not going to judge you for liking something. Like, ooh, you like Spider-Man? Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't get anywhere.
It's true.
If we can all agree that we're allowed to have opinions and likes and dislikes,
Yes.
no matter our gender, sexuality, etc., anything,
Yeah.
then I feel like everything will be fine.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. You do your stuff, I do my stuff.
I do my stuff, and
Right.
you know, sometimes we can geek out about the same thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't like it, that's okay. That's okay too.
Yeah. And there's common courtesy lines where it's like, we're not being hateful or anything.
Exactly.
Say, okay. It's just
sometimes
not
arguing
for
about
me.
something is still kind of fun too.
Yeah. As long as you know it's relational on the other side.
Yeah. But when I can talk with someone about a topic and they have a different viewpoint and we can see each other's viewpoints without being hostile.
Yeah. Right.
That's, it's rare, but.
Right. That's the magic.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. Okay. So for the final part of this first Broad Spectrum Nerd interview, I am actually going to leave so you guys can have some one-on-one time with Amanda Lawson.
I can tell you secrets.
The law. But she has a passion for a hybrid passion of like cosplay, but specifically for Fallout. But there's a story there.
Oh. Fallout?
I think it was sorry.
Like that video game thing?
Yes, there we go. See, she played me on my own thing. I was like, did I get it wrong? But yes, so but there's a story behind it, and I found the story particularly touching.
Oh.
And I think you guys will too. So without further ado, Amanda is going to share.
Right, so Fallout. To say it's a passion is almost an understatement. Rewinding. I went to college at West Virginia University. Woo! And there, I want to say it was senior year, I started playing a little video game called Fallout New Vegas from a friend. He let me borrow it. Thought it was cool. And then I graduated, and 3 days after I graduated, I woke up with this weird sensation in like half of my body. Felt like I slept on it weird. A couple days of this went on, and I went to a bunch of doctors, and they told me that I had multiple sclerosis. So 3 days after I graduated college, to do a very physical, intensive career in theater, didn't know if I was going to be able to do it anymore. So I was intending on moving out to Los Angeles immediately after. That was definitely put on hold while I recovered and got on a treatment plan. But I was stuck at home in Virginia, away from my boyfriend at the time, not really able to do any theater work. And while I waited for my half of my body to come back and like work, I was at home, was finally able to use my hands. I started playing Fallout again, and instead of just feeling sorry for myself, I played that game a lot. And I got really into it, and it got me through what should have been a really bad summer. I was eventually able to pick up some work at a local theater, but I really fell into the world, even though it was a little bit depressing. I kind of needed that depressing to put into perspective my current life. The world wasn't ending. I was making it work. But when I finally got to move out to Los Angeles a couple months later, I want to say it was the end of November, I went on a little tour of all the places that I saw in the game Fallout New Vegas. I saw Nipton and Prim and Good Springs all on my drive out here. And it was really cool to see those places in real life. So I've continued to play Fallout, continued to really dive hard into post-apocalyptic aesthetics and fandoms, and it just it brings me back to that time of when I was first diagnosed and thinking that everything that I worked so hard for was just not gonna happen. Stubbornness. That's what got me through it. The end!
Right.
I think. But good.
Thank you so much for being on the show. The very first Broad Spectrum Nerds interview. You have to catch up with Sista-Host on a different time. Maybe when we do that reunion show at Judd's house. She can be there for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any social media that you want people to follow you on?
Ooh, Instagram, _Amanda Panda.
That's what
and
I call her.
on Twitter, it's @LawsonPaints.
Not gonna lie, didn't know you had a Twitter.
Sometimes I remember that I do.
That's funny. You can follow me, Brotha-Host, Instagram and Twitter @JoshEvansGo. And yes, tune in next time for the next episode of Broad Spectrum Nerds.
We are two broad spectrum nerds. Broad spectrum nerds.